Good morning. I hope you're having a good day and had a great weekend, all that sort of stuff. Back to work. Ooh, Christmas is coming. Ooh. and it's the 24th of November. One more day, it's the 25th, I can count. And then it's only a month from Christmas. Jeepers. So a bit of fun going on with the fleet, in terms of hiding from the weather. In fact, a very good tactical move, I reckon, by Christian. Maybe that was him at the start. That was him there, sitting in a little port, sitting out there, not while the others are not going anywhere in a hurry. So that's kind of a smart move. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. Question mark box. That means question time coming. I'll try and put it up today. I'll put it up today. If you've got any questions about anything, obviously you can put it up in this one here, and I'll answer as best I can. But this is for the others. There's a lot of people that don't follow the tracker because it takes too long. There's half an hour every morning. A bit hard to keep up with, but there you go. And the other ones here. Hang on, I've got to get this. Am I going the right way? Good old Graeme. Graeme's laid up at the moment. He's not quite on the ball. He's not going to put a. I asked him. I said, Graeme, just relax, take it easy. Don't worry about the weekly report this week. So we tipped off all the entrants. Not to worry about ringing Graeme. He's got a really bad case of sore back, hard to move, this, that, and the other, and he's laid up at a friend's place at the moment. So, but we chatted briefly this morning. And he'll be back on deck for the fourth leg. But for now, I've said, Graeme, we don't want you to do anything except read a book for a change instead of writing a book. And I was looking for a picture from him. This was a long time ago. This was, in fact, I'm not sure exactly when, but it could have been 20, 30 years ago. You might be watching this. So pass a comment. I'll let you comment, Graeme, if you're watching. That was his boat. I think that's Orion. That's his favourite little junk rig boat that he was living on for many, many years. We've been back and forth on a lot of things. Great guy. So get well soon, Graeme. We'll look forward to seeing you flying soon. Numbers are growing on the 580. We're still selling plans. And the good news is people buying plans now are going to get straight into building. It's quite cool. Little B, I spoke to Dan the other day. He's firing along, seems quite well. The boat's still for sale in Fiji. He's had a couple of people looking. Logistics out of there is a complication, but basically I just want to let everyone know we're thinking of you, Dan, up there, and good to chat. So, and I'll get back to you shortly on a couple of other things we're talking about. Been flat out. So, Alma 580 Class Globe Germany division. Really active. They went to a boat show there some months back, but they're actually going to be up in Boot, up in Dusseldorf. So if you're going to go to Boot, they'll be there. There'll be a boat there. They'll have a display. He's got stuff that is up there. Excuse me. We might send some more. Associations are. This is an official one. The Spanish were going to set one up, but I think they've all been out enjoying their boats. But we're hoping to see a Spanish association start up shortly. These guys I think they've got about 15 members now. Quite impressive because a couple of people you don't have to be in Germany to be part of that. And they're planning some interesting things. Other little voyages, little races, bits and pieces. Sextants, everyone sort of made the grade with that coming across. To the best of my knowledge, I haven't heard anyone playing with their sextants on the way. But anyway, it is a requirement for the MGR. They've got everything on board. If they had a problem, they could do it. And for the Transat, just a reminder, people thinking Transat, you've actually got to be able to do a meridian passage, which is very simple. You have to learn how to use a sextant, what it does. You have to learn a little bit of basic theory, and pretty much anyone can do a meridian passage, which gives you an east-west position line. So if you're thinking of Transat, just remember that. And I want to throw a word out, not for this pirate. I wonder who can guess who this guy is. Anyway. This was back in Lagos, but I want to throw a word out, not to him. I'll give you a hint. His name's John. But to MSOS, our 24-hour telemedicine guys, they're always on standby. Each of the boats got their first aid kit on board, and luckily, we haven't had too many dramas. Touch wood. They've answered various inquiries, along the way, but It's always good to know they're sitting there. So thanks to that. And Christmas coming up. If you ain't seen this film, I'm just telling you, go have a look. We're passing through 250,000, quarter of a million long views, not just 3-second views or 5-minute views. There's 250, quarter of a million real views, and the comments are great. People love it. If you haven't seen it, go have a look. It's free. It's on YouTube. Christmas, you've got time to watch it. You go, okay, we're back there. Let's go back to where we are. I still haven't packed out from the conference. That's why you're not seeing the right things. I've stuffed a couple of models up there. But anyway, hopefully today we leave on Thursday. But anyway, carrying on. So let's go to the tracker. I'll put you on the tracker. There we go. So you're on the tracker. Now I'm going to tracker, but it's not a pack tracker. It's a picture. So there's Christian down there in this little port that I've never zoomed in on it before, but it's quite a cool little spot by the look of it. So it's got Port St. Francis Main Royal 3. That's a hotel or something by the look of it. So it's got restaurants there and all the rest of it. So he'd be having a right old time while the others are out there drifting. So if we now zoom back, we can see where he is. Before I go too far, I'll zoom back in again and I'll show you where Josh is. Josh is over in Port Elizabeth right now. Here we go. For those that haven't seen it, you could do this anytime if you just get onto Google or whatever it is. But anyway, there he is there. Bit bigger port for sure, shipping, container bits and pieces. But there's Josh down here with the little boats. And I'm not sure which is it's the Nelson Mandela Bay Yacht Club right there. So he's on the ball. He got sucked north, but I'll read you his report later on. And it's not a bad time to be sitting it out because the others are going really slow. So what that means is when they, especially with Christian, he's had to, you can see here, Josh, when he deviated from course, that was a total distance of, what's that? Let's say there, okay, it's 15 miles. It's quite a bit, I suppose, because he's got to now come back probably 5 miles to turn the corner and carry on. Okay. So that's the deal there. So he's a little bit, but while he's sitting there, the clock's running on a weather stop, but the clock's not running on your sea time. So you're better off waiting for the wind to go. As soon as the wind picks up, come out, and your overall sea time might be less than some of these boats down here that are just drifting around, especially for Christian, because if you look at this, he got in yesterday afternoon, and it's not that far off his course. You could say the deviation for Christian might have only been 10 miles, a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours or something, and he'll be out within an hour. He'll be able to turn the corner. And yet he's been sitting there all night, and so these guys have only gone, all night. They've only gone 30 miles, so over 12 hours. It's not very fast. So if they keep drifting and Christian times it right to come out once the breeze returns, he will travel that 30 mile in about 6 hours. They've been out there for 12 hours or more, so you can see what happens. It's a good time to sit out when you go slow. As soon as the breeze kicks in, jump out and go. And it might be, it's a tactic which you can use. So before we get into the whole fleet, I'll do carry when we look at the weather going up there. So basically, I'll put the wind on, but there's not a lot of wind here. Hang on. We can't get the wind down this low. Yes, we can. So you can see here, they've got a light, if this graphic is correct, and it very well could be, because there's a bit of a day-night thing here. Sea breeze. When the land heats up, the sea breeze kicks in, and during the night when it cools down, it goes the other way. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes. But you can see by the split here, that's tacking. So these guys are trying to hold it on starboard tack. These guys have rolled over onto port tack, and Peeler, she's got a little bit less breeze, but I bet she's going slower. So we'll just pick this up now and we'll do the speeds while we're here. Boy, there's a right royal bunch of boats just there. So hang on, one more. Okay, so let's have a look here. Adam is currently doing nothing. I can't get it. Currently nothing. That's interesting. I can't call up the speed boxes. Why not? Because it doesn't do it that far. No. I might have to reboot here. Sorry about this. I'll zoom back, but it's not doing the right thing for me, so I'm going to have to reboot this. Stand by. Here we go. La-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da. Excuse me. I just had 2 kiwi fruit. I've got an itchy throat. What have we got here? Yep, we've got the boxes back. So put the wind back in. Put the wind back in. Oh, we've got a report from Kerry. Maybe that ding just came in. It's from Kerry. So we'll see what's going on. He'll be watching the tracker very closely. I hope I didn't lose them. Nope, we got him back. Okay, so Jasmine doing 1.7 knots, did 72 miles. Not too bad. Eric, 1.9 knots, 76 miles. Jacob, 1.9 knots, 77 miles. They're covering each other. I'll see how close they are in a minute. Adam, 2.3 knots, 76 miles. Erton, 1.9 knots, 73 miles. Peeler, 2.6 knots, 82 miles. Going a straight line too, that's pretty cool. Dan, 3.1 knots, 79 miles, chasing Renault, covering him. Renault, 3.2 knots, 82 miles. So Renault's once again has got the furthest miles towards the finish because they're sailing away from the mark a bit, but yes and no, not so bad. I'll blow it up and see how close these guys are and girls. Radio, boom, boom. They're very close. So, yeah, that's half a mile. That's half a mile between, not right on it, but let's just see here. I'll go bow to bow there, bow there. 3/4 of a mile. And to Jasmine here, to bow. Yeah, 3/4 of a mile. That's not too bad. They're looking at each other. So that's a bit of fun. And let's just see here. If we're getting a bit low here. I'm just playing around because it's kind of interesting to work out what they're doing. But if they're half a mile, there's only about a mile and a bit there. Mile and a bit for those two. So that's cool. We'll put the wind back and I'll go bigger so you can see what's going on. They had been heading to Moselle Bay, and I think they would still be doing that, although what you'll see in the weather is they may not stop now. They may just keep going. So we put the wind back in. So, big picture on the wind. That's big enough. You can see there's that high coming over here, so it's a counterclockwise direction. It's pushing it up there. You've got another one that's rolling around a low that's down there, obviously. And it hasn't impacted them with strong headwinds because and this is the forecast, it's relatively light. I'll roll it through at this angle now so you can see what's happening there. I'll just pull this up a bit so you've got the bottom. And I will now hit this. And every 3 hours, this is what's going to happen every 3 hours. So the wind is going to fill in a little bit more and it's going to come from the south. So and let's see. See where it's cancelling out there. That's sort of it by the afternoon, and a bit of that might be from the heat and a sea breeze coming. So sea breezes are very hard to predict on this this graphic here. Okay, so they may start sailing even though it looks like it's very light. At least it's not headwinds, even if they've got what I call weather coming up from the south. This is dictated by no land effect. It's just coming up. It's all from the right direction, so that's not bad, but it's certainly not strong. They'll be not moving fast. So this is the 25th, and that's coming up to around about now. So they've got 24 hours. So 24 hours from now, they've got a nice breeze heading in the right direction. Christian will be popping out if he doesn't come out today. he should probably think about coming out tomorrow because he will move very fast then, because if we keep moving that forward, it's getting stronger and stronger, maybe even not too strong, but there's 30 knots there. The current's in the same direction. They're not in the Agulhas current. If we just quickly stab this back to the currents, you'll see they're outside. But yeah, and it's all going in the right direction. So, jeepers, look at that. That's interesting. Bloody hell. That's current. I was thinking that wind. But that's still interesting nonetheless. That's a nice current there. That's bordering on 1 knot. So that's kind of cool. That'll speed them on a bit. So that's an idea of the current. We'll come back to the wind and continue the conversation based on the wind. So this is a day and a half away. I've got to press that now. Every 3 hours or so. Then it's dropping off by Moselle. I know they're going to, if they come to that, you can see they could have kept going. And that may be a tactic because this is the next day. The breeze is still there. They're still sailing. But you want to be at least to Moselle Bay because you can see it's turned around by that point. So you don't want to be there. Anyway, Christian will be out. Josh has got to get out and use that following breeze to get under this before this headwind starts. And there's a cell developing here. There's a small low pressure system, okay, going around in a clockwise direction. It's below you, so therefore you've got headwinds. So you don't want to get hooked up with that, but they should all be past that by then. And you can see the split is sort of here. This is the turn point to a degree, right? The weather splits. It often comes up from the south here and it splits this way and that way, but depends on what's going on. It's a very changeable weather under here. There's so many influencing factors, but it looks very good because they'll all be over here by then. And whether they keep going, because there is a breeze there, I'll wait for a bit stronger because you can see on the 27th, but then that's getting pretty strong. So I've got no idea what the fleet would decide to do. The sea will be getting up here for sure. Let's have a look at what it's saying. Waves. Yep, that's pretty solid. It's a pretty solid 3.5 meters. And to a degree, you're not on a lee shore, but it's, you don't want to come too close along the coast here. And then we'll see what happens at False Bay. This is False Bay where they're planning to go. So after Moselle Bay, if they stop there. So that's rolling over. That's the 27th. They could well be in by then and hiding out. Then there's a drifting. There's another cell comes across, but it's generally all either from the right direction or no wind. They'll all be past that by then. That's the 28th. This is all history. So that's the story there. Let me just go back to real-time weather now. We'll shoot up to say good day to Kerry. There's Kerry. He's still there. And his weather at the moment. Well, let's see. East London, that's a good scale. Put this on here. And we'll just cruise it back for the next number of days. There's that low pressure system just moving away in the top of the screen. Light winds, light winds, light winds, light winds, and then it turns a bit. You could get out on that. That's the 25th. That's tomorrow sometime. Late tomorrow, but how long will it last? So it's the 25th. 26th comes up, so you've only got a day. Could get out there and make it to East London. I'd say he's probably going to think about that. I'm not sure. We'll read his report in a minute. And then if he gets into East London, there's that big weather stuff here, but that's all right. You could get out on that. Let's see how long is it going to last. There it goes. East London, that's the 28th. 29th, day and a bit. You'd probably get to out of East London. You've probably got just enough. If he rides that, might get to Port Elizabeth. It's quite a lot closer. It's only 100 miles. But there'd be a residual sea hanging out there. And then after that, the 30th, not too bad. It's getting up here. It's light in the right direction. A bit too far to predict wind by that stage, but it seems to be hanging in the right direction. So he'd be due for a bit of a weather window from there because it's been pretty adverse for the last week or something. So anyway, let's see what he says. I think that's about all I can tell you there. We've seen the ports. Okay, let's come back here and say good day. And see what the comments here from reports from sailors. Oh, that's okay. Hang on. Rightio, we've got a few. Okay. What have we got here? Entrant reports. Okay. The only way Kerry gave us a report yesterday, which I read, and Skookum today had to pull into Port Elizabeth because I went. You got that? Yeah, because I went too far north when rounding the corner. The wind yesterday was supposed to be 10 to 15 knots from behind or on the beam, and it ended up to being 5 to 8 knots of headwinds. I couldn't go west at all, and the current was carrying me towards the land. It was really my only option to wait for better wind, hoping I can sneak out and make it to Moselle Bay before the heavy winds later this week. Okay, so it might work out. I think that was opportune, but anyway, it's still happening. Renault in French. Capital name to the compli sends throughout the vent. Complicated winds during the night, maybe. Questioned. The complicated night. Hoping for the winds, maybe a sea breeze, and preoccupied with sailing in the afternoon. So, and big laughing, 4 laughing. So I think it's frustrating. But anyway, he's got Dan right behind him, so they're having a bit of fun. But probably not a lot of sleep. Light winds is always worse than wind. Doldrums are sometimes the worst time when you go around the world. Anyway, that was Kerry just saying good luck to Josh. I'm sure you'll find a favourable wind. I hope you get one too, Kerry. Anyway, that's cool. So that's that lot. Let's see who's here quickly and see. Causeway Kayak. Where do these bloody names come from? A Causeway Kayak. Good. Sextant, the photo pretty much says it all. Yeah. I can't see that. Hang on. I got the thing over there. Boop. Hang on. Oop. Oh, bloody hell. No. Oh, jeepers. Cancel that. It said leave the site. I can't get. There we go. Sextant. That photo pretty much says it all. Yeah. Christine. G'day, Christine. Have been wondering how sailors are going with celestial navigation. Well, no, they don't have to. They can use GPS chart plotters and this, that, and the other. But if the world went crazy and all the satellites got shot out of space and we had no more GPS or anything like that, then they can actually get home. So that's part of the fun. We'd love to see Pila take the lead on this section. It's surprising. Her course and speed is quite interesting. So I agree. It'd be fantastic. But anyway, it's not really a racing section. But anyway, we've given the managers and the sailors a big task, by the way. As final comment, to do their times. Now they have to send us the time they drop anchor or the time they tie up on these weather windows, and there's various ones. And they start and finish whenever they want, and they've got 16 days total to use up. And then at the False Bay Yacht Club, which is in Simonstown, when they stop there, that's a pit stop. It's very easy. Everyone cross the finish line, move into the 4-day pit stop period, and then they'll leave and come out. So, in the past, when we post provisional timings, and then make them official, put them up, some entrants have questioned certain things and blah, blah, blah. And it's very important that when they leave Cape Town, that we've got everyone happy with their standing and their place in the world, because you'll see there is going to be an updated ranking, and everyone will be listed first, second, third, fourth, based on their sea time from Cape Town all the way back to Antigua. So we're asking all the entrants to do their own revision of all of their start and finish times. Make sure they're happy with that. They've got to give that to us with a proposal. They are the ones that will make the claim for their weather window days, and then they will calculate their impression of where they should be in sea time from Cape Town all the way back to Antigua. Now, we log all the bits and we have our own opinion, but rather than us say what we believe and get them to either say nothing or correct it, we're going to reverse the tables. They come to us. If there's penalties involved, there'll be sales coming on board, all this sort of stuff. They tell us what they believe it is, and we'll tick their box if they're right. That way we know they've kept appropriate records, and there'll be no dispute in the future, because then it's pretty simple, because sailing from Cape Town, it's only to St. Helena, and that's a 7-day stopover, I think, and then St. Helena to Recife, and then Recife to Antigua. Now, another thing that's come up in conversation, we've got some really good guys, Yacht Club and the city of Recife are very happy to see the 580s, and we've been on again, off again about whether we would do a mass restart there, because it's right on the top of Carnivale, and everything gets really expensive, and it's incredibly crowded. Everyone from all areas come in and bomb the place, and they have the carnival and so on. And the fleet's going to be there right on top of the carnival. And the only day we've got for a mass restart is the 19th of February. And depending on the weather, we've also been locked into the prize giving, and the prize giving set for the 20th of March. But we put it to the entrance. Everyone's happy with that, to go with that, and they can, basically we closed off the time for comments yesterday with an Entrant update. So now we'll start a conversation with Recife and see if they would like to do exactly what they suggested previously as a 19th of February mass restart. So then that means we're back to 5 legs. And we'll start that conversation going forward. But it's very simple to keep timings in the last leg up the Atlantic. So by the time they finish, there'll be no disputes about who's where and what, and their technical finish time around the world down to hours, minutes, and seconds. So that's on the go right now. Anyway, we've got here Jasmine's AIS is not working 100%. Yeah, it could be the case. I'm not watching marine traffic, but it might be. We'll see what happens. Their manager should be on to that if it's an issue, and keeping an eye on. Okay, that's it. So any report from Christian? No report from Christian. He's in there. So that's it. Okay, have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow, and then we'll know what they're doing with Moselle Bay or whether they're going to carry on to False Bay. So all part of the fun. Bye-bye. Don't forget to like, share, and tell your friends and all that sort of stuff. Blah, blah, blah.